Salat wa salam ala wa Rasulullah. Welcome to our series on the lawful and the unlawful. And I understand that there's some sisters out there with questions that they want answered. The new people that are just learning about me. You can always ask your questions at the end of each class. I'm here every day to teach Islam. And at the end of the lecture, I'll try to answer whatever questions you have. And it's not just me. If I'm not here, Brother Mukhtar, he'll answer like he did today. So we always try to entertain any questions you sisters may have. So feel free, to ask them. I don't have anything else to do. This is our last class for the night, so I don't have anywhere to go. Don't have any other commitments. So, whatever you have for the new sisters who are new to Islam, feel free to ask them. As Muslims, once you convert to Islam, you're going to spend the rest of your life proving to Allah that you believe in him. That's why it is so important to understand the true meaning of the testimony of faith. And that's why that 6 o'clock class I teach every day is the most important class of all. And after learning how to fulfill your obligations, such as how to pray, how to dress, the second most important class is to learn what the lawful and the unlawful things are. Because that's the problem. Why is it that we Muslims don't live and get along as we should? It's because we're not educated about our religion. Some of us are, others are not, and that leads to conflict. Like Allah says in the Quran, those who know and those who don't know are not the same. You may look at me like the sister was saying earlier, because you've never seen a Muslim woman. You've seen Muslim women, but you're not used to seeing a Muslim woman sitting on the internet looking decent. Decent meaning my face ain't covered because I don't have to cover it. And I look presentable. And I'm speaking in a loud voice like Allah commands me. And I'm backing up what I say. And I'm very emotional. I put the emotion there because we have to, as Daya, know how to stimulate those hearts. You would sit there and say, oh, it's haram. And that's how we are. That's just the nature of the human being, because we see something that we're not used to seeing, or we come upon something that we don't understand. The first thing that we say is it's haram. And by the way, our personal jinn wants us to think it's haram. Why? Because this is a big sin. How many of you know that only Allah has the authority to make things haram? Anyone who makes unlawful something that Allah made lawful is guilty of what sin? Can anybody tell me what sin is that? My students. Anyone who makes something unlawful that Allah did not make lawful, what sin have you committed? Every Muslim should know that answer.
You're innovative.
What we got different answers. Say one person at a time. What sin did we commit?
Shirk.
Okay, somebody said shirk. And what did you say?
Slander.
Slander. What did somebody else say?
Innovation.
Innovation. See how we don't know? We get all these answers. And out of all those answers, only one of them is right.
Shirk.
This is a shirk. Exactly. Innovation is to introduce something new into the religion. Like y'all do with those birthdays. Like y'all do with Christmas. Tis the season. Shirk means to put yourself on a level equal to Allah. And that's what you're doing. When you say something is haram and you don't have the clear proof, You have put yourself on the level of Allah, and you have associated partners with him. That's why I tell you, Muslims, you better be careful. Your personal jinn pushes you because it's something that you never saw before. It's something that you don't think is possible. So your jinn will say it's haram, because he knows you're associating partners with Allah when you do that. So you say it's haram. You didn't think that a woman could wear a nose ring. So, because you didn't think that a woman could wear it, because you think it's something that shouldn't be done, it's haram. That's why the Prophet taught us never use the word haram. I repeat, never use the word haram. I repeat again. Never say something is unlawful unless you have clear evidence. And who can tell me what is clear evidence? What does it mean when I say clear evidence? What does that mean? Does that mean that I can come to you and say, here's a hadith. This hadith says we cannot mutilate our bodies. Is that clear evidence that a woman cannot wear earrings or a nose ring? Is that clear evidence?
No, it has to specifically say that exact thing that you're looking for or asking about.
Exactly. You can't take that hadith and say that means I can't wear a nose ring. No. The Prophet said if it's something haram, it will say that whatever the thing that you think is haram is. So if you think that it's haram for a woman to wear a nose ring, if you think it's haram for women to wear an earring, you have to bring a hadith that says women cannot wear nose rings. Women cannot wear earrings. That's a clear hadith. The hadith about mutilation has nothing to do with an earring or a nose ring. In fact, go look up the meaning of mutilation. You guys don't know what mutilation means. Whoever tries to use that is a person that doesn't even understand English. And that's the problem. Most of us are uneducated. We don't know what simple words over 4 letters mean. To mutilate something is totally different than an earring or a nose ring. And by the way, the Prophet's wives wore earrings. The Prophet's wives wore nose rings. Don't you people know that women have been wearing nose rings and earrings since Allah made Eve? That's why I'm saying we Muslims today are not educated. It's ridiculous. We have to get an education. We have to learn this religion. You cannot, that's why the Prophet said, since most of us do not understand this religion correctly, since we are, and his words, the Prophet said, we are a simple-minded nation. That's what the Prophet said. Since we are a simple-minded nation, don't ever use the word haram. Don't ever, 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 ever say something is unlawful unless you have the clear nas, which means the clear verse from the Quran or the clear hadith that says whatever you're talking about is haram. If I'm going to tell you it's haram to brush your teeth, I have to bring the hadith that says it is haram to brush the teeth. I cannot bring you a hadith that says black crows flew up in the sky. And because there are black crows in the sky and they spit it out a pebble, that means you can't brush your teeth. No, it has to say we cannot brush our teeth. Y'all get it? If I'm going to tell you that it's haram to wear pants, I cannot say, well, this hadith says don't imitate men. Yeah. As Muslim women, we are not supposed to imitate men. But who said wearing pants is imitating men? Don't you people know that the Prophet's wives wore pants? You can look right there in Sahih Bukhari. Atiyah speaks about Aisha. She said Aisha always wore shifts. And underneath her shifts, she always wore a pair of pants. You're not educated. Because until you learn those hadiths, you're not educated of this religion. Singing the Quran is not education. Because the Prophet said, you will never understand the Quran until you learn what I said and what I told you to do. The Sunnah, the hadiths. The hadiths are the explanation of the Quran, and we don't study them anymore. This is one of the signs of the last hour. My Sunnah will disappear. That's what the Prophet meant. The hadiths, we won't use them anymore. We will replace them. He said, you will issue fatwas, and you will replace the things I've said with your own opinions. So you don't understand why it is that a woman can have a nose ring. Because you don't understand it, you're going to say it's haram. Well, you better be careful, because now you lying on Allah. Only He has that authority. And the Prophet Muhammad taught us the things that Allah does not mention are lawful. So since there's nothing in the Quran, not one clear nas that mentions anything about a woman and a nose ring, there is no authentic hadith on planet Earth that mentions anything about a woman and a nose ring. What does that mean, students? What does it mean?
It means it's a concession from Allah and we don't question it.
And what is a concession?
I mean, you can do it.
It means it's lawful. Exactly. And that's what most Muslims don't understand. When it comes to, the Prophet taught us, when it comes to our everyday life, most things are lawful. The things that Allah doesn't mention and He doesn't mention, you're not going to find a verse in the Quran about wearing lotion. You're not going to find a verse in the Quran about toothpaste. You're not going to find a verse in the Quran about soap. You're not going to find out one hadith about toothpaste, about lotion, about deodorant. So what does that mean? That means these things are all lawful. They're lawful. You're not going to find anything in the Quran about Tylenol. Nothing in the Quran or the hadith about taking an aspirin for pain. So what does that mean? That means it's lawful. Does everybody understand? So the things that Allah and His Prophet have not mentioned are lawful. And that's what the uneducated Muslims today don't understand. We have it twisted. We think that everything is haram, especially if we never seen it before or if we never heard it before. That's wrong. And your jinn is happy. He wants you to do that because he knows the sin you're committing. So be careful. The Prophet said the two main reasons as to why there will be more people in hell is because of the failure to control their private parts and the failure to control their tongue. He recommends we get married because getting married will take care of the private part. He said, then you can focus on your tongue. We can stop saying things that's not true. We can stop lying on Allah. We can stop lying on the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We can keep our opinion out. You may not understand why a woman's face is not part of her nakedness. That's your problem. But Allah said, I don't have to cover my face. Not even when I'm making Hajj. And Hajj is one of the most sacred rituals that we perform. Women are exposed to more men during Hajj than any other place. And I don't have to cover my face. In fact, I can't cover it. So that's your dalil. Okay? You may not understand why a woman's face doesn't have to be covered, but that's your problem. On the day of judgment, we will all have our one-on-one time and we can ask Allah why. You can ask Allah why on that day. But until then, you have to submit. That's what the word Muslim means. I am a person that submits to what Allah says, even if I don't understand why. You may not understand why a man can have 4 wives. He can. You submit, accept it. You may not understand why it is that the woman is not the provider. Why is it that the woman doesn't have to provide and maintain? It may not make sense to you because of your cultural upbringing. It doesn't matter. Still, you submit that that's the way it is. That's what we struggle with. Submission. Very few of us submit. And even fewer of us are believers as a result. Until we submit, as the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in authentic hadith, until you accept and submit to Allah's laws, to Allah's rules, you will never be a true believer. So we have to stop making up our own laws. You don't understand why I can wear a nose ring. That's your problem, but I can. Do you think a God-fearing woman would sit up on the internet and publicly commit a sin? Not this one. Maybe somebody else would, but not this one. The fact that I got a nose ring on means it must be lawful. The fact that I got makeup on must mean it must be lawful, because I don't think nobody fears Allah more than I do. I fear him, and I've sacrificed my entire life to serve him. Do you think I'm that stupid? How can I sit up and quote hadith after hadith after hadith and sit up here and deliberately publicly sin? Are you people crazy? Don't get it twisted. Just because you don't know something, just because you don't understand something doesn't make it haram. You got to bring the evidence. I want y'all to know the burden of proof. Also, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us as Muslims, the burden of proof doesn't fall on me. The burden of proof falls on you, the person that says it's haram, because you have put yourself on the level with Allah. I didn't say it was haram. I know that when it comes to everyday life, most things are lawful. You said it's haram. So it's your job to bring the clear verse. Don't bring me a hadith about mutilation. It has to be a hadith that says nose ring. It cannot say mutilation. Back in the time of the Prophet, the Arabs used to mutilate people. You know what that means? That don't mean put a nose ring on. They used to cut their body parts up. They would cut your penis off. Cut out your stomach. So don't play with me. If it's something is haram, the Prophet said it has to say that whatever you are talking about, it has to clearly say it. So if you're going to say that Muslim women can't wear nose rings, bring it. And like the Prophet told the companions, if you can't prove it, shut up. Those are his words. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if you cannot bring the clear evidence, then shut up. He said, this is why most of us will be in hell. This right here, that tongue and your private part. Shut up and learn. Listen and learn. Okay? Does everybody understand that? So, any questions on, and these are the laws, these are the rules of the lawful and the unlawful. You have to bring the proof. If you're going to say something's haram, when it comes to everyday life, you got to have the clear nas. Now, when it comes to worship, it's different. What's the rule when it comes to actions of worship? Who can remember? What is the ruling in regards to actions of worship? Who can remember about lawful and unlawful? Students, when it comes to actions of worship, are they lawful or unlawful? People, y'all don't remember? I guess they don't. Well, the second principle of permissibility is when it comes to actions of worship, everything is haram. Not everyday life. When it comes to your everyday life, everything is lawful, unless Allah says otherwise. When it comes to actions of worship, everything is haram. Now, if I came on this internet and started twirling around in a circle and told y'all this is what we got to do to get close to Allah, I have to bring the proof. Because when it comes to actions of worship, everything is haram, unless Allah said otherwise. So I'd have to bring the burden of proof to prove that you can, that if you twirl in a circle, you're getting close. But when it comes to stuff like a nose ring, how we dress, how we eat, it's the burden of proof is on you to bring that clear evidence. And you ain't gonna find nothing about no nose ring that's saying it's haram. You'll find hadiths where the women wore them, but you ain't gonna find nothing in the Quran or in any authentic hadith that mentions a nose ring or earring as being haram, or bracelets or necklaces. None of that. Go learn what mutilation is. How did the Prophet Muhammad define mutilating your body? Learn your deen. All right. Today, what we're going to do, because we've been speaking about the lawful and the unlawful in regards to social relationships. Today, we're going to speak about, and I forgot it again. Well, let me put the PowerPoint up. Why come I? Oh, we're going to speak about the sacredness. The sacredness of a Muslim's honor and life. Remember, we've been speaking about in our 6 o'clock class on Wala Wa Better on allegiance, how we really have to be careful with this tongue. Because anyone that declares La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, 3 things are sacred and off limits. Their life, that means you can't do nothing to jeopardize their life. Their property, you can't do nothing to jeopardize their property, and their honor. And I want you brothers and sisters who think you know the deen when you really don't, because you ain't sat down with no scholar of this religion and learned anything, okay? I want you to understand when you accuse another Muslim of openly committing a sin, what are you attacking? Do I have any students here who can answer it, or y'all all sleep or watching TV and pretending to be here?
Honor.
Their honor.
Their reputation.
Good job. You're attacking their honor. So if you're going to say that lailanasheeba is committing a sin because I got a nose ring, you just attacked my honor and my reputation. I'm a daya. That's some serious stuff, because any daya who's openly sinning shouldn't be in that position. Any daya who's openly, deliberately, intentionally committing a sin isn't qualified to hold that title or that position. And in the time of the prophet, the prophet would have taken that person down from that position and would have told that person they can never teach again. They can never be in a leadership position again. A daya is a position of leadership. It's a position of authority. So for you people who are saying that Layla's going to hell, and by the way, whenever we use the word haram, you're basically saying that person's going to hell. So when you say that Layla's going to hell because she's deliberately, publicly sinning because she has a nose ring on, you just attacked my honor. You just attacked my reputation. That's a serious thing in Islam. How many of you are like, wow, I never looked at it like that before? See how we have to start looking at what we say out our mouth? That hadith about the 2 reasons why, and get married because it protects the private part. And you can then work on your tongue. Y'all see? That tongue is going to get a lot of us in hell. You slandered that sister. You attacked that daya's reputation. You attacked her honor. So you got to bring the proof. You got to prove that she's going to hell. Serious stuff. Let's put the PowerPoint up on the screen and let's take a look at what let's see what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said about making allegations like that. Okay, let's see. And y'all bear with me. I know my screen might be frozen in a minute because it does that because I just learned how to do this. Okay, go back to that. I got that open. Hold on, guys. It's frozen, I see, but I'm gonna get to it. This is how we gotta hang. Okay, I'm coming back. Let me do this. Y'all watch the snowfall, because while y'all watching the snowfall, I'm gonna set it up on so the Zoom people can see me. Hold on, Zoomers. I gotta log on to, which I should have had it already logged on. YouTube. I'm gonna let y'all see me from YouTube. So give me a second, Zoomers. Sound is off. Yeah, it is. And hold on. Yeah, this is the new stream. This is how we stream now. Get used to it, guys. And we're getting better. Layla than am I a co-host? Oh, wait a minute. I got to make myself a co-host. Oh, Layla. Where's Zoom? Where's Layla? My other computer, which one is? I got how many computers in here? Which one is that one? Where's Layla on the computer, y'all? There she is. Girl, look at her. I got to make her a co-host. Okay, hold on. Layla's a co-host now. Now, go back to this. Click on this. Okay, for people in Zoom, y'all should be able to see the snow falling, right?
Yes.
Okay. And now for me, what do I do? I forgot. Wait a minute, I forgot, y'all. Fresno, I'm having an anxiety attack. What do I do for me? Fresno. I forgot. What do I do for me, y'all? I go back to me on Zoom. Okay, here I come. Okay, Zoom Layla. This is me. Is my camera on?
Yes.
Okay. So what I do is go here for me. Okay, I'm taking y'all out. I don't have Ifty. Ifty, you see why I need you. Okay, hold on. This is me. All right. And I go back to this. Now I'm a screen share. Here we go. Oh, that's camera. Screen share, window. For me, I'm going to be doing, no, I'm doing this. Hold on. Wait. My PowerPoint. There it is. So I'll be going this way. I'm not doing Zoom. I'm doing screen share, not now. Click this, select window, PowerPoint, lawful check number. Here we go, allow. Now, give me a second, guys. Get ready to go for you guys on YouTube. I click this. Y'all see the PowerPoint on YouTube? Make it full screen. Take the lailanasheeba down. Hold on. See, I don't have, the famous brothers. The famous brothers like Kareem Abu Zaid and them, they got people to help them. Layla ain't got no help. She got to do it all herself. So hold on. The brothers got the help. Layla is just a woman. I'm just a girl in the world, and they just won't let me be. I don't have any help, y'all. I'm just a girl in the world, and they just won't let me be. But everybody can see now. But the people in Zoom, can y'all see?
No, you're not sharing right now.
Yeah, I am, but I did this. I know why y'all can't see. Hold on. I did it wrong. Y'all see me now, right? Now let me go back and share my screen the right way. Lawful, unlawful on YouTube, right? Is that YouTube? Yes. Y'all should be able to see. Yeah, there. Y'all see it now on YouTube? Zoom is coming on. Okay, it should pop up there all the way. That Ustada should go down, right? Did that leave? Yeah, there. It's that Zoom is lagged. Okay, here's the PowerPoint. Everybody should be together now and be able to see. See, one day I'm gonna have somebody to help me like Kareem Abu Zaid and them got. I'm just a girl in the world. You just won't let me be. Here it is. Today we're going to speak about social relationships and the sacredness of the honor and life. We're going to see what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said about not controlling your tongue. Yeah, a lot of you are married. You controlling your private parts. That's what that hadith means. Get married is one half your deen. It doesn't mean that you're going to all of a sudden know the religion. It's protecting you from the hellfire. The one half is your private parts. The other half, the rest of your life should be spent protecting your tongue, not making statements about people that you can't prove, not going around saying that somebody's going to hell because they got an earring on or a nose ring on, or because they got on colors, or because they have on makeup, or because they're pretty, or because they're smart. Let's see what the prophets say about these statements that we make. Okay, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Again, guys, we've talked about this in our 6 p.m. class too. Our way of life. Islam teaches that because we all have declared La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, then, our life, our honor, and our property is sacred. We also have talked about how when we declare La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we're declaring that our allegiance is to Allah, to the Prophet, to this religion, to each other. And that's why when Ibn Umar, radiallahu anha, made Hajj, he looked at the Kaaba one day and he said, how great and sacred you are. But the sanctity of the believer is greater than you, the Kaaba. And the sanctity of the Muslim includes the sanctity of his life, his honor, and his property. So our allegiance is not to the Kaaba, just like our allegiance is not to Masjid al-Aqsa or anything like that. Our allegiance is to the sanctity of Allah, the Prophet, and each other. We got to be careful of the things we say. If you're going to tell a Muslim that he or she is doing something haram, you're basically telling he or she that they're possibly going to hell. I want y'all to do that. That's how you break yourself out of using the word haram. When I was a young child, I used to use the word haram all the time. I remember my stepfather who raised me. May Allah forgive him of all his sins. I mean, Yahya Abdul Sabur. That was my stepfather. He was the one that raised me Muslim. He was the one that taught me this deen. I remember him telling me, he said, Layla, don't you know? Every time you say something's haram, you tell your brother or you tell your sister that they're doing something haram, you're telling them that they're going to hell. So be careful. And that's how he broke me out of that. And then when Sheikh Morsi became my teacher, I remember that's the same thing that Sheikh Morsi told me. And this was over 25, 30 years ago. Sheikh Morsi said, Sister Layla, I want you to understand, Sister Layla, don't ever use the word haram unless you have the clear nas, because you're basically telling someone that they could possibly be in the hellfire. And that's what I'm telling you as my students. Think about that. You better have the proof. Otherwise, you're attacking their honor. To accuse me of going to hell, to say I'm going to hell, that's my honor. That's my life. Also, during the farewell pilgrimage, the Prophet himself, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said when he addressed the gathering of Muslims, he said, your lives, your honor, and your property are as sacred to each other as the sacredness of this, your day, in this month, and in this city of yours. So again, he stressed, just as Hajj is something sacred, just as going to Mecca to perform the pilgrimage is something sacred, so is our honor, the honor of another Muslim. We talked about how on the day of judgment, no one, the Prophet said, no one will enter paradise until they settle the scores. What does that mean? All the people whose honor you violated, you have to make that up. You have to give up your good deeds to those people whose honor you attacked, whose honor you harmed. Even those people, there will be some people shaded on the day of judgment. The fact that they're sitting on thrones under shade, that doesn't mean that they don't have to go through the settling of the scores. They have to go through it too. It's just that they will have more good deeds than the average person. So while they're sitting on those thrones under the shade of Allah, we're going to be looking at them saying, uh-oh, I hope that person owes me for attacking my honor, because I'm getting ready to take his deeds. So we have to be careful of the tongue, guys. The things we say about other Muslims that we can't prove, we got to be careful. Honor. We talked about backbiting. We talked about how even if what we say about the person is true, we still cannot say anything about a person that they would not like behind their back. Even if it were true that a woman can't wear a nose ring, when there is nothing in Islam that forbids that, nothing. But even if it was true, that I was committing a sin by wearing a nose ring. You know I don't like nobody to talk about me behind my back. I'm a warrior woman. My thing is, come on, bring the dalil, and if we got the war, you draw your sword and I draw mine. So you backbit me. Even if it was true, you backbit me. That means you still got to give up your deeds to me. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if anyone says something about a person which is not true to defame him, then you've done even worse. You've slandered me now. And Allah will hold you in the hellfire until it extinguishes what you said. So now, not only did you backbite me by saying, oh, astaghfirullah, she wear a nose ring, but you did even worse. You slandered me because you said I'm going to hell. You said it's haram. So if it's haram, that means I'm going to hell. You slandered me. Look how many good deeds I'm getting ready to get, if you even got any. And by the way, if you don't have any good deeds, what does that mean? Because you probably ain't going to have none. If you're that ignorant about the religion where you don't know the lawful and the unlawful, you probably don't have any good deeds for me to take anyway. So what does that mean? That means you're going to take my bad deeds. Whatever bad deeds I did, maybe I could backbit somebody. You getting ready to take my deeds. That's bad. So again, the tongue. This is why one day a man saw Abu Bakr sitting on the side of the street and he was pulling his tongue. And this man said, oh, Abu Bakr, what are you doing? He said, my tongue. Because he said something that he shouldn't have said. Okay? That's that hadith. Half the deen is not knowledge. Half the deen is protecting your private parts. And now you can work on protecting your tongue. Okay? We have another hadith where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to his companions, do you know what is the worst form of usury? In the sight of Allah. Now, a lot of us, we worry about that, which we should, because usury is one of the 10 major sins. We're so worried about credit cards. We're so worried about buying a car on interest. Well, do you know what the worst form of interest is in the sight of Allah? The worst form of interest in the sight of Allah, guys, is to violate the personal honor or reputation of another Muslim. That's worse than buying a car on credit. That's worse than having a credit card. Y'all worry about the wrong things. You so worried about interest on a credit card, you better worry about your tongue. Allah says in the Quran, in the interpretation of the meaning, those who harm believing men and believing women undeservedly have laid upon themselves a calumny and a manifest sin. So instead of worrying about your credit card, you better worry about what you say about lailanasheeba out your mouth. You better stop worrying about my nose ring. It ain't none of your business. Okay? You've committed the worst interest by accusing me of committing a sin publicly. Y'all see that? And I'm using the nose ring because I want y'all to see how horrific this is. We got to learn the deen. We got to control the tongue. We cannot say things about people that we can't prove. I keep telling y'all, Islam, Muslims, we are a people of dalil. That makes us different from the Christians and Jews. There's evidence to support us and what we say and do. Bring the proof. Otherwise, do like the prophet said, shut up. And the worst kind of attack is to attack a virtuous, believing Muslim woman, to accuse the believing Muslim woman of immorality. Y'all know that this happened in the time of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the same way we got women and men who are jealous of lailanasheeba, who's nobody. You had women and men who were jealous of Aisha, radiallahu anha, who was somebody. They did the same thing to Aisha that they do to Sister Layla. They slandered Aisha. They accused her of immorality. And this is why the prophet listed slander and gossip as one of the worst 7 most heinous sins. And Allah has threatened people against that. Do you know why I'm using this hadith and this verse? Because, again, we're so uneducated. There are some people that would look at lailanasheeba on YouTube and say, oh my God, she's a woman of zina. You are slandering me. You're accusing me of being a woman of zina because I have a nose ring on? You're accusing me of being a woman of zina because I have on makeup, which is kohol? Kohol is makeup. When even the prophet's wives wore kohol? You have attacked my personal honor. You have accused me, a God-fearing daya, who has devoted my life to teaching this deen, of being immoral. Don't you dare call me a woman of zina. But people do it. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning. Those who accuse chaste but careless or indiscreet believing women shall be cursed in this world and in the hereafter, and they will have a grievous punishment on the day when their tongues, I keep telling y'all, half your deen, tongue and private part, your tongue, your hand, and your feet will bear witness about what you do. Okay? On that day, Allah will give these people their full and just due. And they will show that Allah is indeed the one who has the clear truth, the clear proof. That was the name that we did Friday. Adore here. Okay? The manifest. The one who manifests the clear truth. That's another example we could have used. Allah has made the lawful and the unlawful clear. If something is haram, it would be a clear verse saying it. It's clear that you cannot fornicate. It's clear you cannot eat pork. It's clear you cannot gamble. It's clear. But you're going to tell me that he didn't make it clear that I can wear makeup or I can wear a nose ring? Are you people crazy? Y'all better watch that tongue. Yeah, you got your private parts under control. That's the first half. What about the second half of your deen? Your tongue. Slandering righteous women. Accusing believing women of immorality, of zina, of mutilation. Do you know what it means to mutilate your body? How dare you accuse lailanasheeba of mutilating my body? My body is scarless. Are you out your mind, brother? Listen to what Allah says and the interpretation of the meaning. Indeed, those who love that a scandal be spread about those who believe will have a painful punishment in this world. And we women suffer with that. We have a hard time accepting that there's another female who knows more than us. And to top it out, she better looking than we are. So we like to hear scandal. We like to gossip. We like to make up rumors. We like to attack each other's reputation. We look for reasons to try to tear a good sister down. That's why it's going to be more women in hell than men. Subhanallah. So all of those hadiths and verses of the Quran, I really tried to, shake your heart. I'm making my voice even stronger. I am a communication specialist. You have to be a good da'iyah. I'm trying to put the fear of Allah in everyone listening's heart, including myself, because I'm a woman too. I can fall guilty of slander and scandal mongering too. We all suffer with that. We have to fear Allah and control that tongue. Somebody asked the question yesterday, when does marriage become obligatory? Marriage only becomes obligatory upon you if you can't control your private parts. I ain't got a problem with that. I don't even care about the private part. It's my tongue that I work on as a woman, and all the sex in the world ain't gonna stop my tongue from moving. The only thing that can stop my tongue from transgressing is my fear of Allah. So marriage ain't gonna help that. So guess what? Lailanasheeba's single and fine. Allah could care less about that. My man waiting in paradise. His name is Muhammad ibn Abdullah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I told y'all, me and Moses broke up. Like I had to sit down with Moses last week and told him, sorry, he been waiting on me for 30 some years, but it ain't gonna work out. I done fell in love with the Prophet Muhammad even more. So, Moses is available, Latifa. He's yours. But Muhammad ibn Abdullah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is mine. Hello, move over, Aisha. We getting ready to be the best friends. Okay? So you sisters got to work on that tongue. That jealousy. Quick to say somebody going to hell because you can't accept the reality that they look better than you. You brothers, you got all the wives in the world. Your private parts is in check. But you brothers better check your tongue, because there's a woman that you wish you could have and you can't. So you're going to say she going to hell because she got a nose ring on when you can't prove it's haram? You better check your tongue. So now let's talk about the sacredness of life. That was honor. That was honor. Now we're going to talk about the human life. Listen to what Allah says and the interpretation of the meaning. If anyone kills a person for any reason other than for the killing because this person committed murder, which is qisas, it would be as if he's killed the entire mankind. It's as if he killed all of mankind. By the way, these two things go hand in hand, life and honor. There's a hadith whereas the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, to attack a man's reputation, to attack a man's honor and destroy it is the same as if you've taken a sword and cut off his neck. How many of you are cutting off the necks of people? How many people have you killed today with your tongue, brothers? You brothers who think you know this deen because you went to some online yoki-doki school. You sisters who think you can teach yourself the deen. You ain't sat down with no scholar of this deen and learned the meaning of these hadiths like I've done. None. How many people have you killed with your tongue? How many necks have you taken today? That's a question we should ask ourselves. That's what I used to do. I'm going to tell y'all because I'm a woman too. I used to talk about people. My best friend Tiva would tell you. I used to make fun of people all the time. I thought it was funny. My mother used to knock me out for doing that. I had a problem with making fun of people. You want to know how I broke myself out of it? I still do it sometimes, and I ask Allah to forgive me every time. But you want to know how I don't do it like I used to? I used to wake up every morning and ask myself, how many people have I killed yesterday? How many people did I kill with my tongue? You women better get it together. You brothers who are murderers of the tongue, because you don't understand this deen. So you quick to put another Muslim brother or another Muslim sister who know more than you down. You killed them. Unless you can prove them wrong, you've killed them. Okay? So human life is sacred. Allah says, and this is talking about real murder here now. Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning, for the one who kills a believer intentionally, his payment is hell, to abide there, and the wrath of Allah is upon him, and also Allah's curse is on him, and a punishment that is tremendous has been prepared for him. Now I'm talking about murder, human murder. We definitely don't go around killing. We shouldn't kill anyone, Muslim or non-Muslim, unjustly. Unjustly meaning it's not the eye for the eye, qisas. Or the person is not guilty. You're not in a Muslim country and the ruler has issued Allah's law on them. Okay? We cannot take human life, period, unjustly. And to take the life of a Muslim intentionally, this is the worst sin you can do. The Prophet ﷺ said the passing away of the world would mean less to Allah than the murder of a Muslim person. He also said a believer remains within the scope of his religion as long as he does not kill anyone unlawfully. All of these hadiths, the source, Bukhari and Muslim. Again, hadiths are not numbers. Don't ever ask the number of a hadith, because ain't no saying of the Prophet was said with a number. The source is what you look for, Bukhari and Muslim. And if you were a person who's educated, you wouldn't even have to ask the source. You should know it. If you are a person that knows the religion, if you hear me quote a hadith, you should automatically know the source like I do. When I hear a hadith, I can tell you where the source is, because I memorized all the sitta, all the hadiths and all the sitta. Okay? You should know the source. And again, we have another hadith, whereas the Prophet ﷺ said Allah may forgive every sin except in the case of a person who dies, an unbeliever, or a person who kills a believer intentionally. And that's why there's, we got some scholars who have the opinion. I told you that in another class. Some are of the opinion that Allah never forgives the sin of murder. And I support that. And I support it. This is my dalil. The Prophet ﷺ said Allah may forgive every sin except the sin of disbelief and intentional murder. Intentional. You kill a believer intentionally. I'm not talking about ran him over by accident. I ain't talking about you threw something that accidentally hit him. I'm talking about you intentionally, knowingly, willingly killed another Muslim. Allah doesn't forgive that. I support that. And here's the dalil. What's the source? Dawood, Ibn, and al-Hakim. Okay? So based on these verses and a hadith, Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, he too was of the opinion that I share, that the repentance of murder, intentional murder, will never be accepted by Allah. Ibn Abbas argued, since in the case of an offense against another individual, the wrongdoer's repentance is not accepted unless the wrong done to others is righted or their satisfaction secured. So in the case of murder, one can restore. How in the case of murder can a person restore the murdered person, bring him back to life? You can't. So Ibn Abbas supports that view too, based on what I just mentioned. And that's intentional murder. But then you do have some people who believe that it is, their repentance is accepted. And they base it on the verses in the Quran where Allah says he forgives every sin except disbelief. But some sins, like I tell you guys, a lot of Muslims are not aware that some sins fall in the category of disbelief. And intentional murder is one. Intentional murder falls in the category of a sin of disbelief. Okay, and we'll talk about that in another class. Also, this is why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us to not fight each other physically. In fact, he considered a Muslim fighting another Muslim to be a door that opens disbelief. He said to insult the Muslim is evil. To fight him is disbelief. What's the source? What's the source? Bukhari and Muslim. Also, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, do not become unbelievers after I pass away by killing one another. And this is what we see today. Okay? Also, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when two Muslims draw weapons on each other, they are standing at the brink of hell. And if one of them kills the other, they will both enter it together. Why? Because it was both of their intentions to kill the other. This is also a hadith that supports the view that this is a sin that Allah will never forgive, to intentionally kill another Muslim. And this is why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam forbade any action that leads to murder. That's why he told us, if you're walking through the mosque, make sure that the weapon is put in its sheath. Don't carry a weapon in the masjid or around the Muslims unless it's inside a sheath where it can't hurt anyone. If you got a gun, make sure that it's the safety is on. He said, if anyone points a piece of iron at his brothers, the angels will curse him until he stops doing it, even if it was his real brother. So we don't even play that way. We don't even play like we killing each other. Also, another hadith. This is also Sahih Muslim. The Prophet said it is not permissible for the Muslim to scare his other brother. So what does that mean? That means we don't go around holding up a gun, threatening to kill each other. And again, the sin of murder is not limited to the murderer alone. Everyone who participated in the crime by deed or by word will be the recipient of Allah's punishment. So if you witnessed the murder or you participated in it, you know, you're going to be held accountable for that. Again, the Prophet Sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, none of you should remain in a place where a man is being killed unjustly, because the curse of Allah descends upon anyone who was present and did not defend him. This hadith is authentic. It's Tabarani. Okay? You have to defend the person. It's not lawful for us to stay in a place where a person is killed unjustly. So here we can see, guys, and by the way, let me fix the screen back. Hold on. Okay, am I here? I'm here. Okay, and now, hold on. Let me screen share too. Oh, wait a minute. Give me a second. Y'all can see the snow for a minute. I got to put it back. Oh, okay. Let me do this back too. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Wait a minute. How do I get that off? Layla? Okay, how do I get that off? Okay. Where's Zoom? Oh, there it is. Okay. Boy, y'all just don't know. I'm working all this by myself. These brothers have people helping them, and Layla ain't got nobody. Okay. There I am. All right, let's go back in it. Now I can go back to this screen, share. Why is that thing up? Hold on. Okay, that's down. This is up. This is Zoom. This is this. This is this. So, okay, now you guys should see me. Pop in. That should be me now. Okay, so here we can see, guys, you know, the seriousness in Islam, you know, for guarding the honor and reputation of our brothers and sisters in Islam. And that's why I'm telling y'all, we have to be careful. We're living in the days of fitan that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam warned us about. The days in which people will issue fatwas that go against Islam. The days in which the Sunnah will become abandoned and Islam will become strange. Whereas most Muslims won't know their religion, won't understand it. The days of the Ruwaybida. If you were to ask the Muslims, what are the pillars of the prayer? They can't answer. If you were to ask them, what's the lawful and the unlawful? They can't answer. But they go around cursing each other, accusing each other of going to hell because they don't know the basics. Be careful of that. If it's something that you don't know in this religion or understand, shut up and go ask the people of knowledge. If you see a woman with a nose ring on and you don't know if it's lawful, just go ask the people of knowledge or go ask her. Ask her. Is it haram for you to wear a nose ring? Come ask me. I can break it down. Oh, yeah. Okay? Because I know my deen. It ain't my fault that you guys lost your religion. Too many of you have lost your deen. You sold your deen for the life of this world. Be careful accusing righteous women of stuff. Be careful what you say about another Muslim, because you don't know what their relationship is with Allah. It may be 10 times better than yours. And you done unjustly attack that person's honor. All right. So I'm going to stop right here.